Greetings of peace and love. My name is Ra Imhotep, and I come to you on behalf of 13 Signs Astrology.com. That's the number 13, signs plural, astrology.com. The reason for this video is because I had a recent inquiry in regards to the planet, or some call, the planet, Nibiru. For those of you who have never heard of Nibiru, I'll give a little brief information in regards to this planet. Nibiru is a very old topic. It was something that I first came into contact with from reading a book written by a man named Zecharia Sitchin, or Sitchin. Not sure how you pronounce that, but I think it's Sitchin, called The 12th Planet. And Zecharia Sitchin was a researcher. I believe he's deceased now. He died recently. He was a researcher into the Sumerian doctrine and the Sumerian tablets. Now, the Sumerian tablets were a group of texts and tablets that were recently discovered sometime, I think, around in the 70s. I'm not sure, maybe the 60s or 70s. And they were written in Sumerian. And they were actually discovered in the area of Babylon. And what they found out is that the Babylonians actually got their information and their doctrine from a group of older ancients called the Sumerians. And in these texts, the Sumerians talked about a lot of information that actually you find right in your Bible. So a lot of the information that I actually talk about comes from the Sumerian tablets. Namely, some of these tablets are the Atrahasis, the Gilgamesh epics, the Enuma Elish. These are some of the Sumerian tablets or texts. And basically what Zecharia Sitchin did was he researched the Sumerian tablets and texts thoroughly, all of them. I mean, it's a lot of them. The text of Ishtar. There's many Sumerian stories and texts, and he researched them, and he was able to read them in the original languages, and he translated to the best of his ability. He translated the Sumerian tablets and texts. And he was also fluent in Hebrew. And you know that a lot of the Bible, the Old Testament, was revealed in Hebrew. So he was able to do a comparison and a study in regards to the Hebrew and the Sumerian language. And what he found out is that a lot of the information that comes from, that's compiled within the Bible, was actually really just kind of like a short story in comparison to the Sumerian text. Meaning that when you read about the stories of Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel and things of this nature, what he found out was that these were stories that were recounted and put into the Bible. Because the Bible is a book of mythology. Actually, the whole religious theology is what the scholars call it. Religious theology, comes from older myths and older mythology. And if you research the term mythology, you will find out that mythology basically means to tell a story. A myth is basically a story. So what the compilers of the Bible did, the Hebrew scholars that compiled the Hebrew Bible, the Torah, and things of that nature, the book of the law, they compiled these stories based on older stories. That's where they got these stories from. The Bible is a book of stories, which is basically the same thing that myth means. Myth means story. So they got these stories from older ancient stories. And actually what they found out, or what Zecharia Sitchin found out, was that the Sumerians are some of the oldest humans to tell these stories that were passed down from culture to culture, from people to people, from tribe to tribe. Now, according to my research, the Sumerians were a tribe or were basically a group that were actually came from Africa. They came from Africa, and they were basically Egyptians to a certain extent. I mean, they lived in a different land, so they can't be called Egyptians as far as like the nationality is concerned. What I mean, as far as their descent, they were Egyptians. Egyptians basically means land of the burnt face people, or land of the black people. So they were black. They were Egyptians. The Sumerians were Egyptians. And Zachariah Stitchin talks about this, and I have all of his books. I'll show you one of his books. This is one of his books right here. He has a lot. I think he has maybe 7 or 8 books. He goes into the stories of Enki and Enlil, which were 2 brothers. But I'm not dealing with that here. I'm dealing with the planet of Nibiru. So as far as he is very popular for talking about this 12th planet. It was called the planet of Nibiru. And the planet of Nibiru, he said, was the 12th planet, and he said that it had a cycle, like a cycle of 3,600 years, to where it comes back around into our solar system every 3,600 years. He translated the term Nibiru to mean planet of the crossing. To mean planet of the crossing. This is what he translated it to mean. And based on the fact that it crossed over from our solar system, from another solar system, into our solar system. The planet of Nibiru crossed over from another solar system and another galaxy into our galaxy, in our solar system, or close to our solar system, because actually it doesn't come within our solar system. Now Nibiru, for my research, let me go into a little bit of my research. I researched a lot of this information in regards to what the ancient Egyptians had to say about this. And the ancient Egyptians called this Nabara. Nabara. A rough way to spell it would be Nabara. Nabara. And they would translate Nabara, or Nibiru is what the Sumerians called it, to mean planet of the crossing. To mean planet that is up there, or one that is up there. Nabara means up there. That's basically what it translates to mean. It means up there. Now Zachariah Stitchin believed that this was a planet. It was an actual planet that grew from, like most planets come from a larger planet and they break off. This is how planets come into existence. But in actuality, Nabara, or Nibiru, for one thing, it's more than one. It's more than one. I'll go ahead and put that out. It's more than one Nibiru, and it's actually not a planet. It's actually a UFO. Nibiru is actually a UFO, or various UFOs. The term Nabara or Nibiru to the ancients would be used the same way we would use UFO, or unidentified flying object. It meant the same thing to them. And some of the ancients mistaken it as a planet because of the fact that it flies on an orb. So as it rotates and it forms a circular motion, and it looks like a planet. So this is why the ancients, or some of them, even some modern people, mistook Nibiru or Nabara as a planet, when in actuality it was a UFO, or IFO, identified flying object. Now I'm going to do a video on extraterrestrials, so I'm not going to go too deep into this information right now and right here. But what I will say is, I want to go ahead and say this so that I don't confuse people. The accounts that took place in the Bible, like for instance, when Abraham met with God and sat down and had dinner with God. Correct? You can go into your Bible and research this. I'm not making this up. Abraham met with God. I want you Christians out there to really follow me if you're listening to this video. Because I know some of you probably have turned it off by now. But if you're still listening, Abraham met with God. He met with 3 men. He met with the Elohim, actually. That's really the translation of what it would say in the original Hebrew. Abraham met with the Elohim, and the term Elohim means more than one. See, Elohim was a group of beings. There were a group of beings. And Abraham sat down and had dinner with these gods, or these men. And it takes a man to sit down and have dinner with someone, correct? So in the Hebrew text, when they talk about God, they're speaking of a group of physical beings, or men and women. When the Hebrews spoke of God, all throughout the Bible, they talk about God walking around. The guy has feet. He's sitting down eating dinner with people. He's speaking. He's doing all these things that men do. So God, to the Hebrews, was a physical being, or a physical man and women. So this, and I'm not making this up. This is right in your Bible. It's even translated into the English for those of you who speak English that are watching this video. And so Abraham sat down and had dinner with these with this group. So what Zechariah Sitchin found out upon him doing his research on the Sumerians, he found out that the Sumerians, and the reason why these physical attributes were put on God was because he found out that these gods were actually extraterrestrials that came from a different planet. They came from various different star constellations and planets. And they came here, and not only did they just come here, but they actually created man. They actually created man. In the Bible it says, let us make man. And when you look into the Hebrew, it's used the term Elohim. See, this wasn't one God. When it said, let us make man, plural, us. This was a group of beings that came here and genetically modified and created man. So man was created by a group of extraterrestrial beings, according to the Sumerians. And you can research this. It's in this book. And I'm not going to go into it too deep because I'm going to do another video and various videos on it. So that's basically where the term Nibiru comes from and what it's talking about. Nibiru was a planet, or was not, I'm sorry, was a UFO, a manufactured planet that was built by extraterrestrial beings so that they could travel from their star constellation to here. They were physical beings, and the only way for them to survive in outer space was to build a planet-like craft, and that's what Nibiru is, and not was, is. A planet-like craft, because Nibiru is coming back, has already came back, and has sent smaller crafts and shams down to the earth. And this is where you're getting a lot of your alien abductions from. People are speaking of getting abducted by aliens and things of that nature. Even in the United States alone, they have laws that have been passed and how to deal with alien abductions and UFOs. The military has codes that, in their codes and their law books, the military has codes on how to deal with UFOs. I'm not making this stuff up. You can go research this stuff on your own. So if the alien situation wasn't real, then how come they have all of these laws and information passed on the legal books and on the law books in regards to how to deal with UFO encounters? There is even information you can go to here on YouTube. It's a video called Ancient Aliens that one of my good friends, Femi, put me on to. And it's called Ancient Aliens, and this is even on the History Channel now. Ancient Aliens. It was posted on YouTube, but it originally comes from the History Channel. And in this, they're going into how these older civilizations, like the Egyptians and the pyramids that were built by the so-called Egyptians, had to have been built by an advanced group of beings and higher beings. See, so all this information is coming out, and I'm not making this up. So if you want to really research this, I suggest that you go and look into the Ancient Aliens information, and you will be surprised at what you find out. Now, for those of you who have experienced alien abductions or think that you're experiencing alien contact, because there are a group of us out there that have experienced this, I have a reading on my website. It's called the Alien Contact Consultation. The Alien Contact Consultation is located on my website, which is 13scienceastrology.com. You can click on the readings part of the website, the astrological readings part, which is located at the top of the home page. You click on that, and I give you a 1-hour consultation and walk you through as to whether or not you have been prone to be contacted by aliens, because believe it or not, this is something that can be found in your chart. Those that experience alien and paranormal type of contact, is certain planets and certain houses that we can look at in your chart, and certain configurations that we can look at in regards to finding out as to whether or not you might even be an alien hybrid, to find out as to whether or not you're getting contacted by aliens and why you're getting contacted by aliens, which species of aliens are contacting you, because there's many species of aliens, and what to do and how to deal with this contact, how to shut it off, or how to basically respond to these aliens. I go into this information because I myself have experienced alien contact, and I'm not afraid to speak of this publicly. I don't care what nobody thinks about me as far as somebody being called crazy and things of that nature. I don't deal with that type of information, because like I said, if you research this stuff, you'll find out that there are many people out here that are getting contacted by aliens right now. I mean, it's all over the news, it's all over the media. You can go just Google aliens right now, and thousands upon hundreds of thousands of research materials will come up in regards to this, and links to websites and pages will come up if you Google this. So this isn't something I'm making up. So I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. I hope this answers your question in regards to Nibiru and what it means. And I'll look forward to my next video, which will be dealing with aliens. I don't know if it's going to be my next video, but soon I'll be releasing information in regards to aliens and the history of aliens and what it means for us today here on this planet. I thank you for listening. Have a great, prosperous, and successful day. Peace and love.